Hello, YouTube friends. Jamie Hepworth here. Today, I had a really fun coaching call with ladies in my Christ-based parts integration group, and we talked about how do you deal with shame? Do you struggle with shame? Do you worry about doing things the right way? Do you get so focused on having the end result be, present before you? It's like, what is your goal that you need to achieve that you're always striving to reach and you never do, and you feel so bad about that? And any hint that the thing that you're working towards is not yours already, you just feel bad about that. Is that your circumstance? If that is your circumstance, I want to talk to you about how to get under that a little bit. So this is also related to a thread of a friend on Facebook who was talking about how there is a rise in divorce. There's a rise of separation of people and families breaking apart right now, and that a lot of people are citing that their spouses are narcissistic and that's why they left them. And the question was, how do we get to the bottom of narcissism? And the answer to the question is you don't get to the bottom of narcissism. Actually, I do have some thoughts on how to get to the bottom of narcissism, but fundamentally, narcissism is a symptom of people not being able to have a personal self-expression that is acknowledged adequately. It is fundamentally rooted in a society that has declined in its ability to play, and that does everything based on extrinsic motivation. Okay, so I have a really fun paper to share with you. It's called The Decline of Play and the Rise of Psychopathy in Children and Adolescents by Peter Gray. Peter Gray also wrote a great book called Free to Learn. I love his perspective about how play is something that play is our work. Play is the work of children. When children play, they're trying out things that test their ability to do something that's beyond what they had been able to do before. And but not in a serious fashion. It's like they just get to try on things, right? They get to see what their parents are doing, and then they get to do their version of it. And they have encounters with dragons or evil, but it's in a format that feels safer. Play is so important for children to be able to process emotions and deep traumatic fears. I brought my kids to play therapy before, and I learned a lot about observing my children, about how they process difficult things through play, and being able to acknowledge them and their will and allow them to play in an organic way within safe boundaries is vital for their well-being. Okay, this is not a joke. Like, play is a big deal. But what do we have in our world? What do we have in our culture? We have an entire system that says these external stamps of approval are what make you valid in our society. This certification will make you valid. This amount of money will make you valid. This weight on the scale will make you valid, right? These test scores are what are going to get you into this track. But I think that these things are starting to crumble. We're starting to see that all of these constructs, all of these external validations are actually irrelevant, because they violate fundamental natural human rights to be autonomous. You have people who are very narcissistic. Why do we have that, and why is it increasing? He makes a really great argument in this paper that the reason that narcissism is increasing in our society is because there's a rise in externality, right? There's a lack of personal control. We have a system that is totally based on, you need to do what I tell you to do. Where's the personal control? Where are we able to encounter fears and find creative solutions ourselves? Is there any place where the solutions are not already being pre-digested for us from the experts who can tell you what to do. Our whole society is based on this, and it's a false construct. It disempowers people, and it actually creates more narcissism. One of the researchers that's mentioned in this paper says that college students between 1982 and 2007 found that over this 25-year period, the level of narcissism rose significantly and linearly. The level rose sufficiently so that by 2007, nearly 70% of college students scored higher in narcissism than the average college student in 1982. Narcissism is going up everywhere. My brother shared a really interesting podcast with me about how personality disorders are on the rise. Narcissism is on the rise, and it's because we have institutions that are in an improper balance in relationship to other people, right? Because people are not doing the things that they need to in the correct form. We have, children have to be parents to their children and caretake their parents' feelings and stuff like that. So when you get big brother who needs to take care of things because the family's not taking care of things, stuff like that. We've got the system of order completely out of control. It's bringing on destruction of everything, and of fundamentally our relationships. And what is it really about? Well, we don't know how to play. That's why. There's a few more quotes in this article. This is on page 451 of the article. He says, the increased narcissism among young people may seem to be inconsistent with the increases in anxiety, depression, and external locus of control that have been documented over the same years, but in fact, it is consistent with these changes. Narcissism is sometimes characterized as equivalent to high self-esteem, but it is understood by clinicians to be a fragile and defensive variety of self-esteem. And he talks about a shift towards greater materialism. Why? Because materialism is external validation. So where do we get internal validation? We get it in play. Are you aware of yourself? Are you aware of what matters to you? Are you aware of what feels good to you? Are you aware of the fact, do you have friends that you can relate to in an organic way where it's safe for you to explore playing and trying out new things and new ideas? Or all the people that are in your life telling you what to do all the time, trying to control all of your behavior in order to produce certain outcomes that they want from you? Okay. If you're living by true principles, you have a rock solid relationship with God, and you have a truly loving, supportive friends, and you're clear about what you want. The friends aspect here and the knowing what you want, those are kind of at the heart of play, right? Knowing like true laws and having a relationship with God, those are at the heart of what is true. But understanding what makes you feel alive in relationship with your friends and connections that are sincere, right? Based on intent, not just obligation or biology. That is important. That matters a lot. So, if we don't know how to play with each other, if we don't know how to have organic relationships where we can communicate about something besides expectations, your relationships are going to fall apart. Society will continue to fall apart. If we have everything that we're choosing to do in our society is based on the expectations of other people about what matters, then we're going to struggle. My baby's waking up. I gotta go. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and that you will think about how being more playful in life and looking for the concept that maybe nothing bad happened, maybe nothing went wrong, can allow you to find more organic solutions that keep you moving forward instead of being stuck in a shame trap where you're super worried about having to do things the right way, right? By the external validation of others. Because what we really want is we want to be able to be internally validated and be internally centered and connected to God. We don't want everything to be based on external certifications or value or rewards that have nothing to do with what you actually want and what God is telling you to do. How do we bridge that gap? Well, I have a program, my Christ-based parts integration group coaching program, where I focus on sharing concepts and principles that teach you how to connect more deeply with God, how to be more centered in yourself, and how to acknowledge the parts of you from your childhood that are still hurting and heal them with Jesus's help. I would love to share more of that with you. I'm going to post a link below if you're interested in signing up. But today, my final takeaway is just go play. Find ways to play and know that that's actually beneficial, and it will reduce psychopathy and narcissism. At least that's what I believe. That's what Peter O'Grey believes and shares here in his article. I'll post the link to this article below as well. Have a wonderful day. Bye.